Hi, this is the first and possibly only episode of Suedo Philosophics, which is like pseudo-philosophics, except more stylish and harder to clean. And I watched a video last night that made me wonder if perhaps it isn't time to start saying goodbye. Not in a morbid way, nothing histrionic or dramatic about it. But what if we're done? And if we are done, how do we want to go out? Not hopeless, personally, but over it, finished, tired, burned out, indifferent. There's a verse that frightens me in the Bible. There's more than a few. There's one that particularly frightens me recently. You can look it up on Bible Gateway. Use King James only. And it says, if the salt has lost its savor, what is it good for? It is good for nothing but to be trampled under foot by man and tossed out. Something, And that verse scares me because it applies to me. I have kind of lost my savor. The indifference has kind of finally become mutual, and not like last week. I've been down in Mexico now for about 2 years, and I didn't come down here because I really believe there's any hope up there. Earlier this year, I was talking to a friend of mine in Fort Worth, Texas, and kind of excited about going back, actually. I thought about it. It's lightening up with the restrictions. People aren't as uptight. It's kind of been proven to be kind of a non-issue. And I'm like, I miss playing. At some level, I'm kind of burned out on it, but at a much more fundamental level, I'm like, well, it's fun. Get up and do it. I'm good at it. I like it. It's what I want to do. It's what I always have done. Increasingly, since I've been sober. Unfortunately, I didn't get sober until I was 40. So that's a lot of time wasted, literally. But, so I'd make plans, not quite planned. I actually made an itinerary, though, once from Mexico up to Fort Worth with booking, like, sites, kind of hotels booked along the way. And I canceled it at the very last minute because it just, once I really had to wrap my head around coming back to the States, I realized I really didn't want to do it. Something in me just didn't trust it. I'm like, it's like going back into it's like, you found your lifeboat. No, you're going to get back on the deck of the Titanic to play the song with the band one more time before you all end up in the icy depths. It's like, I just found that even though I wanted to play, the idea of going back to the States didn't quite resonate as wise. It just struck me as a bad idea. So I canceled the trip, and I've kind of thought about it, kind of talked to this guy a few times about it early part of the year, and each time either it just kind of, I never moved on it, or when I did move on it, I canceled it. I'd book the hotels and figure everything out, and then I would just be like, if I don't cancel it now, I'm going to have to pay for the room. I'm not going to use it. I got to cancel the trip, so I canceled it. And I haven't written anything in a while. I wrote a song about a year ago called "Tomorrow to the Day." There's a couple of videos of it, me playing just into the camera. Nothing produced. Not even trying to record it really. Just to get it technically, get it kind of recorded technically, but not like produced at all. And at the very end of the song, it goes, "Thank you, Jesus, for holding us together. Thank you, Jesus, for always being there." And every line in that song is true. These are all, it technically, of course, is not 1,000 degrees in the shade in Oklahoma City, but obviously it's not a it's a song, right? Not a legal document. I know it's kind of a shocking concept, but sometimes the artist is expressing something. It's not necessarily a vow that he's making, and that is a problem in the States. It's a humorless, legalistic society, and it is kind of really reaping the benefits of that. And I don't have any America guilt. I hate America guilt. I hate white guilt. I hate all that crap. I have no shame whatsoever about being a white gringo. Well, yeah, actually, that's an accurate way to put it. Gringo is not a racial term, but it means Americans. But anyway, or Anglo, English-speaking people, I don't know. So if we're going to say goodbye, then I want to apologize to everybody out there who I have said some untoward, ridiculous crap to you, if I've really offended you or you're really mad at me. And maybe I don't even know why. And maybe I do. I want you to know that I'm sorry for it, and I really regret it. I really do. I don't, it bothers me, and I'm sorry about it, and I wish things were smoother. If you have ever said anything to me or done anything to me, ripped me off, lied to me, used me for this, that, whatever, kind of led me along, and don't worry about it. I'm not mad. It's all right. I forgive you. I'm not mad. I need to be forgiven, and I have to forgive. And forgiving people is not a request that God makes. It's a command. And it is one of the hardest commands in Christianity. But it's not an option. He doesn't say forgive because, if they apologize and you forgive them, maybe it's not real forgiveness. Maybe the forgiveness in your heart is not true. And if you can forgive them unconditionally, because that's what the Lord did to us. He's hanging on the cross. They just whipped him, and he's about to die. He's nails are through his wrists and through his feet, for gosh sake. Imagine how that would feel, right? And what does he say? He says, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I mean, do you think, can you say that? I couldn't say that. And the only way we can say that is to take off our unforgiving worldly mind and angry worldly mind and drunken worldly mind and whatever it is, lustful, stoned. I don't even think, that's necessarily, stone's not necessarily a bad thing. But at this time in my life, it would be. The Lord's clearly called me away from smoking weed. I haven't smoked weed in about 2 years. It's one of the last things I did in the U.S. I didn't bring any, of course, across the border. I quit right before I crossed the border, within a few days. Anyway, so I got a friend in San Diego, just came out with a new song called I'm Just Getting Started or something, and I really appreciate the sentiment. I applaud he's a talented guy, a great songwriter, and a great performer, and I just don't agree with the sentiment. It just doesn't apply to me. I don't think it applies to anybody, and I think we are looking down the barrel of the end here. So if this is the end, if it is too late to fix, if we are just trying to, instead of recovering what's been lost, we're just trying to keep more from running out the door, like the guy in No Country for Old Men says to Tommy Lee Jones, then let's at least drop the attitude, drop the past, drop the problems, and sayonara con paz, with peace. Sayonara, I think, is a Sumerian word. I'm not sure. And so, if I kind of got the sense that this might be the end, because I don't really have anything else to say, and meaning I don't feel that I've already written it. There's a lot of Christian themes in the music. There's a lot of non-Christian themes in the music. You can use your own discernment and sift through it. I have a Christian album called Everything I Have Is Yours. You can find it, search for it on YouTube. Look on my YouTube channel under the playlists or under the channels. It's on there. Because I think one of the problems up in the States is that everybody has kind of forgotten about the art, and they're more interested in whether or not the person on stage agrees with them about whatever, or claims to. In the Christian community, they'll say, well, this person is singing about Jesus. And I'm like, well, no, they're not. They're just, technically they are, but it's not from their heart, right? They're name-dropping him in a song lyric, but their heart is far from him. But you have paid them to deceive you, and you've made them rich. Now that they're rich, they're falling away from the faith, and I just can't live in your parking lot anymore. And it's one of the reasons I can't write. It's just because I'm burned out. It's exhausting. And so it's okay. It is what it is. We're not going to even be singing Amazing Grace in heaven. And it's going to be good. So I hope to see you there. Thanks for listening. Vaya con Dios.